Okay. I've been working to restore an old Land Rover this week. It was one of the very last Land Rovers made before they were called Defender after release of the Discovery model. It has been sat in a field for many years, covered with dirt and grime as rust takes its inevitable end. Many people would look at it and see something beyond repair, something destined for the scrapyard. But not me. I love a project. I love to fix the broken and give new life to that which others think is unredeemable. Perhaps you look at your life and see the mess. Perhaps you look at all the broken relationships. Perhaps you see the loneliness, or perhaps you look into the future and see nothing but worry and care ahead. Perhaps you agree with Burns when he looked at the mouse and said, "Still thou art blessed compared with me, the present only toucheth thee, but och, I backwards cast my on prospects drear, and forward though I canna see, I guess and fear." Perhaps you don't think that you deserve a second chance at life after all the things that you have said and done. I know a lot of people feel that way, as if life is hopeless and the brokenness of this world cannot be fixed. But I've come to tell you that that is not the case. That you are loved to a degree that you would struggle to comprehend. And that there is a fix for the brokenness of this world. Just as I valued the old Land Rover I've been working on, so God values you. Even with all the scars of life, even with all the wrong things that you have done, still He values you. He loves you despite all the brokenness. He loves you enough that He sent His own Son to deal with the root cause of all the brokenness in your life, the problem that the Bible calls sin. Despite the perfect nature of Jesus as God, He took on humanity. He understood all of our worries, all of our griefs, all the pain that we had to endure, and He drew close. In Matthew chapter 11 verse 19, it said when Jesus was here that the powerful people mocked Him and called Him a friend of publicans and sinners. Surely as sinners, we should take heart that the very God of heaven has a care for us. But more than that He has a plan for us. That He has gifts to give us and a sure and certain hope for the future. Promises have been made to those who trust in Him. In Romans chapter 8 verse 28 it says, "And we know that for those who love God all things work together for good, for those who are called according to His purpose." You will note that though this promise is not made to everyone on earth, but rather only for those who love God. What does that mean? What does it mean to love God? Surely everybody loves God. Well, no. There are many who hate God and everything He stands for. But more than those who know they are in open rebellion to God, more than just those who hate the very idea of God, are excluded. This verse, this promise, it is not given to those who have positive feelings about God, but rather it is a positional state. It means those who are Christians. Why do I say that? Jesus in John chapter 14 said, If you love me, you will keep my commandments. A short time before this, what is meant to keep his commandments was clarified. In John chapter 6, people asked Jesus, what must we do to be doing the works of God? Jesus answered them, this is the work of God, that you believe in him whom he has sent. So you see that it all comes back to the same thing, that we must believe in Jesus. We must become Christians, not just in name, but to really believe. Not just that he existed, but that he died and rose again to save us. So when the jailer in Philippi asked Paul and Silas what he had to do to be saved, he got the same message. Believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and you will be saved. Not just believe that he existed. Anyone who actually knows the evidence for the historical Jesus of Nazareth must admit that he existed. Not even that he was and is God in humanity, but rather he is God who died, was buried, and rose again to pay for the wrongs that you have committed, and rely on that for your salvation. If you do that, if you take that step of faith, then the promise made in Romans 8, verse 28 applies to you. It might not always feel like it does, but God keeps his promises. He has a plan for your life. He's preparing a place beyond your wildest dreams for when this mortal life is over. He has a plan for this universe, to redeem it, to make it right, to fix the brokenness, repair the damage. And he wants to start this repair with you. There's another thing that occurred to me while I was working on my old Land Rover. I was trying to clean up some parts when I realized that all I was doing was making the part I was holding even more dirty than it was before, smearing the filth all over the place. Why? Well, because my hands were dirty. And I thought to myself, this is much like trying to fix the sin problem in our own selves. Our attempts just make everything worse. I'm sure that you have felt that way yourself, as though as soon as you try and make things better in your life, in your relationships, that it all just gets worse. We are simply not able to fix the problem of sin in our lives. We need an outside actor to step in with a solution. What I needed was to have clean hands. Otherwise, I was just spreading the dirt around. What we need to fix the sin problem is a sinless person to take our place. Jesus lived a perfect life. Because the wages of sin is death, death had no claim over Jesus. He did not have his own sin to pay for, unlike all the prophets, priests, gurus, political leaders, religious leaders, and self-help authors. Jesus died not to pay for his own sin, but for ours. Death claims us. But Jesus went into death willingly. He then rose again to evidence his power over death. If we put our trust in him, we can have the dirt of our lives cleaned away. When we put our lives in Jesus' hands, he can clean us fully. Not that we will never sin, but rather the dirt will not stick like Teflon. It's easy to wash away. So I would encourage you to take that step of faith if you've not already done so, and to see the work that God can do in your life. Thanks very much for watching.